I always say at this point, I'm glad to be here, but this week I really... There was one high point when a policeman investigating me said, this may be a silly question, but is there anyone who might have a grudge against me?
I have an alibi. Good evening, welcome to Have I Got News For You. I'm Kevin Bridges. In the news this week, in London, 3 men about town meet up with their blind dates for the evening. At the Tory party conference in Birmingham, Rishi Sunak announces he is staying on as leader. And at the headquarters of SpaceX in California, secret footage emerges of Elon Musk preparing for his latest launch. On Ian's team tonight is a journalist and broadcaster who is currently writing a book about the nature of genius. No pressure, but it better not be shite. Please welcome Helen Lewis. On Paul's team is a comedian who describes her school days at an all-girls school in Kent as if Enid Blyton wrote Skins. So please welcome the star of 5 Get Trapped in a K-Hole. It's Chloe Peck. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Helen, take a look at this.
Finally, a scandal-free government.
Things can only get better. Just a change of shirt, change of suit.
This is surely about the shortest honeymoon since that one Britney Spears had.
Yes. Immediately, Keir Starmer gets in, and lots of people have said you shouldn't take these freebies, you're going to get into trouble, but, you know, he's a lawyer. He doesn't listen. You can't really spend years attacking the Tories for sleaze, and then the first thing that happens is one of your major donors is giving you all this stuff for free. And it's glasses. And you think, don't walk straight into it.
He should have gone to Specsavers, is what you're saying.
I mean, just like the previous Labour government, if you remember, the Blair government ran straight into Bernie Ecclestone, major donor, giving them a load of money and changing policy. And it's, at worst, disappointing, and B, it's the same again.
Well,
big response from the audience. It's not popular, but it is what's happening.
Problems mounting up for Keir Starmer. Would anybody like to play a game?
Yeah, what's the game?
It's called Fears for Keir.
Well, now I've heard what it's called, I don't want to play it.
Let's see if I can sell you on the game.
Yeah, go on, then.
It's a randomiser. It's going to stop on a picture, and I want you all to tell me who it is and why they are a fear for Keir.
OK, fine.
Here's your first
Yeah,
one.
good.
Can I just check the words that you're saying?
Fear for Keir.
Fear for Keir.
Fear for Keir.
For Keir.
Yeah.
I did
Fear
think
for
it was
Keir.
Feels for Keir. And
Feels
we were
for-
all
right.
going to be blindfolded and you were going to bring someone in and we had to work out a fear for Keir.
I think somebody's threw me under the bus here with these pronunciations. OK,
Yeah.
Here's your first picture.
Well, that's Lord Ali, who's a major donor to the Labour Party. He gave them £500,000, and he's doing it for nothing. He doesn't want anything in return.
Well, he did get to have a pass, didn't he, to Downing Street during the transition period, which they then took away from, which he was never really explained what he was there for, apart from sort of just sort of vibing. I can imagine a bit like he's sort of Bez in the Happy Mondays, and he's just sort of there just to kind of keep the energy up.
That's how I see him.
It is Lord Ali, who is paid for £32,000 worth of goodies, including clothes and glasses for Starmer. What do we think? That is actually a Stone Island polo shirt. That is how confident he is he's going to get Oasis tickets. Money well spent.
Well, he's given back the money for the Taylor Swift concert.
He's paid back £6,000 worth of
Tickets.
I would like to register a complaint about this story, which is that none of the stuff that he paid for is weird enough to be funny. And I think that is the real failure of this Labour government. What I want is my politicians to spend money on things that are weird and useless. Well, like the duck house. The duck house was great.
Yeah.
Who has a duck house? You look at that and you think, that's mental. No one has a duck house.
It's just odd that he didn't see that this was going to be a problem. It makes you think maybe he's not very good at politics. The idea that you're saying, I'm going to give back the donations, well, some of them, well, a few of them, well, OK, those ones. It's not exactly saying, yep, you're right, let's be clean and transparent.
I personally have a theory on why he gave the Taylor Swift tickets back, and it's because, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed this, Taylor Swift and Theresa May dance in exactly the same way. Like haunted marionettes. And I think he gave them back because he didn't want to get trauma flashbacks if he went to the Swiftie concert. He'd be handed a friendship bracelet that just said Brexit means Brexit.
OK, what was Keir's excuse for accepting £20,000 worth of free accommodation?
If it's really nice.
You said it was for his son to take GCSEs.
That's correct. He defended his family staying at Lord Ali's flat so that his son could revise in peace for his GCSEs, adding, it's your one chance in life.
It's a bit unfair on the retake market.
And if he screwed up his exams, he could always learn a trade, something humble. I don't know, a humble toolmaker. What about his defence for taking free football tickets?
This is the executive box, isn't it? Because if he sits in the stands, it might be a security issue.
Yeah. He said he can't take his security detail into the stands, so if I don't accept a gift of hospitality, I can't go to a game. Don't go then, you dick. What historic event did Keir get a free ticket to?
Was it the Battle of Hastings?
The Euros.
Correct. The Euro final, Spain versus England. A memorable evening for everybody in Glasgow. Here's Keir enjoying a chat during the game. You fucking watch, Sam. Time for another fear for Keir. There we go, a pensioner giving him the wanker sign with Andy Blank. Do you know what this is in relation to? Yes.
This must be the winter fuel payment being taken away from richer pensioners.
I don't think anybody wants the winter fuel payment to be cut. Mainly because it means your parents are going to have to come and stay. Everybody is angry. Check out this Daily Telegraph headline. Jeremy Corbyn was right.
That's like the sign of the apocalypse.
How did Starmer manage to upset his own party on the issue?
By pushing a vote through.
He had a party conference vote on the fuel allowance and he moved it until after he had already left to avoid embarrassment. One trade unionist accused Labour of moving the vote to the graveyard slot, along with a fair few pensioners this winter. Was anybody able to articulate a defence of the policy?
Older pensioners, you know, I won't be there for a very long time, but it might be thought that they don't really need this, and perhaps they shouldn't have it. I think that's the argument. I don't buy it, obviously. God, I'm going to claim every penny.
Should we see a Labour delegate put it a bit more coherently?
Yeah.
Are you worried about the optics of all the various donations, given the fact that you're having to make that choice, or the Chancellor says Labour's had to make that choice to take away the winter fuel allowance from a lot of pensioners?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
It was a really miserable conference for Labour. But who tried to lighten the mood?
Absolutely no one, as far as I can remember.
We had Rachel Reeves, having been doom and gloom all summer. The Times revealed that she would shift the tone to offer a more positive vision. Here she is, trying to offer that positive vision.
There's a touch of Wallace and Gromit going on there, isn't there?
how did Keir himself accidentally lighten the mood?
Sausages instead of hostages.
So good.
Yeah.
I did feel for him because he gave a very long speech and I thought, no one will remember anything about that apart from he said, we're going to bring the sausages home.
I think what happened there is sometimes when I come on the television, my mates will be like, can you get the word unicycle in?
Which you just done.
James, wrote me a tenner, mate.
Unicycle, I'll have a tenner as well.
I think what's happened here is his mate, Labour peer Wahid Ali, has gone, if you say sausages in your next speech, I'll give you 16 grand. And he knew that hostages was coming up and he saw an opportunity. That's what I think has happened.
It's a product placement, effectively. Sounds plausible.
Can I just say that the night Keir did that, I was doing an event with John McCarthy, who actually had been a hostage in Lebanon. And I thought, oh no, this is really bad taste. I don't know what's going to happen. John McCarthy stood up and said, as a former sausage...
Shall we have a look at the clip?
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
It's so good.
Is this any connection with Liz Truss opening up new pork markets?
That is a disgrace.
Yes.
It's contradictory policies, though, because if the sausages get returned, then we've got no fuel to sort of cook them on. What are you writing down? Are you going to do that joke again, but better?
No, actually, it's nothing to do with you. I'm just writing a book.
Does anybody fancy another fear for Keir?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you going to explain what this title is at some point?
People who have sparked a bit of fear into Keir Starmer.
Right, I just thought it was a band I hadn't heard of or something. Fine.
Tears for Fears, the band.
I knew there was something you weren't telling me.
That's Jeremy Clarkson, and I'm assuming he's there because he scares everyone.
He's just opened a new pub, hasn't he, Jeremy Clarkson? So is it something like Taxis Beer?
Oh, is it the pub garden?
Yes.
The smoking?
Yep, Labour are keen to put the country on an enforced health kick, which includes banning smoking in pub gardens, and he's put up this sign barring the Prime Minister from his pub.
He's misspelled it, though, so we're going to a loophole.
Which means the next version of this round is Fire for Kaya.
Final fear for Keir, let's take a look. Who have we got left?
Angela Rayner. Do we get points for this? No, we don't.
How long have you been doing this show?
About 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is Angela Rayner. I would allocate a point for that, Paul.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can have a point, mate,
lovely.
for correctly identifying Angela Rayner. Considering they keep telling us there's no money, Labour can't stop splashing the cash. What has Angela Rayner spent £68,000 of taxpayer money on?
Oh.
This is a private photographer.
A vanity photographer. Have you seen what she's been photographed doing so far?
No.
So you think for 68 grand you would get a photographer who could remove his own fingers from the picture? Who will be happy about Angela Rayner's vanity photographer?
She will be, presumably.
Former Tory MP Jake Berry, here he is talking about Angela Rayner.
I actually think Angela Rayner is a very, very attractive woman. And I used to have a picture of her pinned up. I had a picture of her. There was a book launch, and I pinched the poster on the way out. And
Does your wife know this, by the way?
Yeah, my wife does, don't worry.
Okay.
I pinched the poster on the way out, and I had it pinned up in my office. This was when I was Conservative MP.
Sharing a split screen with Jeremy Kyle and you still come across as the creepiest afterbirth.
But he's done quite well, considering, according to that caption, he was a former chair. You know, be fair.
This is the end of Keir Starmer's honeymoon period. Just 3 months in, a majority of voters already think Labour will lose the next election. put it this way, there are cruise ships in Belfast that have got off to a better start. Following victory on July 4th, Keir Starmer was given the keys to 10 Downing Street and then went straight to Timpson's to get a set cut for Lord Ali. It's not clear what Keir Starmer expects in return for all these freebies, but it has definitely made him a sausage to fortune. Keir Starmer received tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. How times have changed at Westminster. In Boris's day, a Swiftie was when you impregnate a member of staff.
Before your wife gets home. So,
He did write a hysterical column in the Mail accusing Keir Starmer of being sleazy.
Paul and Chloe, take a look at this. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, I looked the wrong way. Paul and Chloe,
Yeah.
take a look at this.
What, are you going to do something?
No. Paul and Chloe.
Yeah. We're still here.
Take a look at this.
Has it been in the news this week?
Paul and Chloe, take a look at this.
I think that's Tom Tugan hat.
A clean start, yes. Just empty your pockets, sir. Yeah, that's James Cleverly.
Kemi Badenoch looking for some mothers to take some money off.
Yep. And, oh...
Just a normal way to hold your wife.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So who are these people, do you know?
Not a clue.
No.
I'm not sure some of them know.
No.
This is the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham, the hottest ticket in town. Take a look at this.
There is a brilliant buzz at this conference, isn't there? It's fantastic, terrific energy, thousands of you here. We've got members, councillors, MPs, businesses. In fact, it's such a hot ticket, I'm surprised that Keir Starmer hasn't asked somebody to buy him one.
Rishi's joke there, an absolute fucking belter.
But it's very peculiar. I mean, the party that's just won with a thumping majority is absolutely miserable. And
Yes.
the ones that have been wiped out and have got no chance for the next 50 decades are going, this is great! I actually think the Tories do like being in opposition. It means they can attack the people they really hate, which is each other. They're certainly thrilled. They thought they had a great conference, didn't they?
I've got a problem because as a citizen of a democracy, I want them to have a really good leader, right? But as a journalist and someone who does comedy panel shows, I want it to be Robert Jenrick.
Which one was he?
He's the last one.
He was the last one.
One of his kids, his middle name is Thatcher.
Really?
And he said, I understand women because I've got 3 daughters, a wife, and my 2 dogs are female.
Kemi Badenoch has made a pretty strong pitch at being the biggest crackpot at the Tory leadership.
what does she think is excessive?
Maternity pay.
You're right, the answer is statutory maternity pay,
Yeah.
which is always a good idea, winding up pregnant women.
It's not good having a name that starts with the word bad, though, is it? And ends with Enoch.
So if you pledge support to Kemi Badenoch, you can join her WhatsApp group. What sort of fun do they have on Kemi Badenoch's WhatsApp group?
Emojis, they're quite fun.
Yeah.
They actually write Kemi-inspired limericks.
No. No, I'm against that.
Would you like to hear a sample?
Oh, I
please.
think so.
Yeah.
We know Kemi's got the right stuff and won't fail when the going gets tough. Then it just goes to shit. Tom, James, Mel and Bobby don't delight the lobby, so Miss Badenoch's the one up to snuff. I think it's a cry for help rather than a limerick.
What's the formula of a limerick?
The next 2 lines have to rhyme, then the last line rhymes with the first 2.
So they all rhyme.
No. We know Kemi's got the right stuff and won't fail when the going gets tough. You won't get any money if you're a new mummy, so... So we say she's had enough. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We got an alternative last line.
Go on in.
So don't try and get up the duff.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, there we are.
She finished her speech with a rallying cry. What was the rallying cry?
I hate all of you. Who wants some?
Yeah.
She said of her campaign, "We are a movement." There we go.
I had one of those this morning.
Robert Jenrick is probably the favourite. Now, if your name was Robert Jenrick and you wanted to jazz it up a bit, so it was a bit more cool,
Yeah.
how would you go about that?
Bobby Jenrick.
And he's called himself Bobby J. They've got hats.
We want Bobby J.
Yeah.
We want Bobby
It's an
J.
ill-advised reference to someone who got shot.
It is also an ill-advised reference because, according to Urban Dictionary,
Yes, it's a reference to a blowjob.
in certain communities, yes.
Chloe looks scandalised. I enjoyed your genuine kind of, not Bobby Jenner.
Yeah, but it's worth getting one, though, isn't it? What? I mean, the cat. What? You know.
Jenrick's record in elections is not great. What happened when he was a student trying to get elected as the college student union officer?
Was he tarred and feathered and thrown into a canal?
He was the only candidate, and he lost.
He failed to win, even though he was the only candidate. Robert Jenrick owns an unusual item of personal grooming equipment. Can you tell me what it is?
A nasal perma.
It is hair. It's kind of related to hair, so...
Belly, button, belly, button, belly, belly, button, fluffer remover.
I think it's a button belly button fluffer
Yeah.
remover too.
You want to go with that?
Yeah.
Is it a comb?
You sound like you haven't come across one of those for sight. You're right.
According to the Mirror, he has a special razor to shave his hands.
What?
Even more disturbingly, it's for his palms. Another of the candidates is James Cleverly. Every successful politician has a big vision and a slogan to match Obama's "Yes, we can," Martin Luther King's "I have a dream." Let's take a look at James Cleverly's.
Let's be more normal.
He also gave my favourite interview of maybe of any of the Tory candidates in which he went, yeah, I've watched porn. And I almost now can't remember if they had actually asked him a question about that. Put it out there, guys.
My name's James and I like to rip the head off it. That's a decent introduction. Apparently, there's also a guy running for leader who is called Tom Tugendhat.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got a nickname in the style of Bobby. Tom Tug on that. The T-shirt, the arrow pointing. If your name was Tugen... How do you say it? Tugendhat?
Tugendhat.
Yeah.
Tom Tugendhat, TT. How would you make the most of that, if that was your name? How would you try and make that sound?
He's got a
Bobby
range
J-ish?
of Tom Tugendhat.
He has.
He has it finally caved in and he's got Tom Tugen hats. But he had
Yep.
also Tom Tugen water bottles, Tom Tugen...
all sorts.
Tom Tugen tats, right? He had
Yep.
tattoos that said Tommy Tugs on them or whatever.
He's got... he's got a tin of spray tan, and if you apply too much, they will want you deported. Liz Truss was at the Tory conference.
Yeah.
What did she have to say?
I'll be back.
She said the Conservatives would have done better at the last election if they hadn't kicked her out.
She said I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become a bit like sort of going to see the lunatics in Bedlam, hasn't it? Oh, I wonder what Liz Truss will say. Go on. Say something mad.
Well, I tell you what she said.
Yeah.
Since she's had a couple of years to reflect on it, she's become a calmer, more relaxed, more natural person. Let's take a look at this new Liz Truss.
Hello, Ms Truss. Sky News. Why do you think the contenders should listen to anything you have to say, given the disaster of your premiership? Do you think they're listening to you? Do you think your interventions are helpful to the Tory party in the state that it is at the moment? Do you take any blame for what happened in your premiership, Ms Truss? What do you think? Do you think any of it was your fault? Do you think the leadership contenders should take more of a Truss-like approach?
It is like the face when you're trying to unlock your iPhone.
I think she's an AI experiment and they're seeing how long we'll believe it.
I question the word intelligence. Artificial, yes.
This is the Tory leadership battle down to the final four. The Guardian presented this helpful guide to the Conservative leadership candidates, after which the passport photo booth blew itself up. Kemi Badenoch told the Tory conference that 10% of civil servants should be in prison. So about the same proportion of Tory MPs and BBC newsreaders. In Birmingham last week, Liz Truss declared, "I'd have done better than Sunak in the election," to which the barman replied, "I know, love, but I called last orders 20 minutes ago." You want me to do that again, cleaner? Just carry on. Just carry on? All right, mate. Relax, mate. OK.
And we forgot to do the round about the Middle East, so that's coming up. Not many series only have one episode, but this might be the one.
And so, to round two, this is the strength-ometer of news. OK, fingers on buzzers, teams. There we go.
This is the cruise ship, which I believe now has eventually left Belfast. It's been there for about 3 or 4 months. And finally it set sail, and they're just heading across the Atlantic now, where there's been reports of icebergs, but they're not worried about that.
But finally, it left Belfast on Monday. We can see how far it got.
Yeah.
It got about as far as Bangor.
Yeah.
Not even the one in Wales. It got as far as the local Bangor. And then it turned back, giving the explanation, "We still have some administrative paperwork to be finished." Where is it going now?
Caribbean, next stop, isn't it?
Closer to home.
Caribbean.
Isn't it going somewhere in Scotland?
Yes, it is. I was quite flattered it was going to take in Scotland. It's going there to refuel. The cruise is meant to be a 3.5-year round-the-world trip. Why might one cruiser be seeking a refund?
He liked it in port and he's angry they've started moving.
One woman paid £75,000 for a permanent cabin, and she was kicked off for making critical comments in a private WhatsApp group.
Oh.
She did it in Limerick form as well.
She did it in a private WhatsApp, so there's also a grass on board, which is the last thing you want to be in Belfast. How have the passengers spent their days stuck in Belfast?
Having a good time. Generally, they all seem to be very upbeat, the people I saw being interviewed on the news.
One couple had this to say.
How did you manage to stay happy throughout all this happening?
Oh, how can you not in Belfast?
Yeah.
We've had so much fun.
We drank.
That is actually the captain and the first mate. OK, fingers on buzzers, teams.
Yeah. What an unusual thing to do with your mouth. I think this was the debate, which got a lot of coverage at the time, particularly Donald Trump's assertion that people in a place called Springfield were eating pets, eating cats and dogs.
Yep, here we go.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Perhaps he's seen somebody eating a hostage dog.
You wonder if that disinformation's going to spread over here. I'm looking forward to taxi drivers that are coming out here, eating our XL bullies. So, what has Donald Trump recently declared?
Give us a clue.
Something regarding not this election, the next.
That it's been rigged.
He's actually declared that he won't run for president in 2028 because he'll have abolished elections by then. He said, a few weeks ago, he said, in 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good that you're not going to have to vote. So that's exciting. Kamala Harris has been trying to present herself as a sort of Republican light. How has she been doing that?
I own a gun, she says.
Boasting to Oprah Winfrey. If anybody breaks into my house, they're getting shot. What has been Donald Trump's latest attempt to grab headlines?
There are a lot of quite good sort of dance remixes of him, because he said they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live here, which actually is a much better poem than the Kemi WhatsApp group, and they could really learn a little something from that, frankly.
This particular question is in relation to Donald Trump launching a new brand of luxury watches.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which cost up to $100,000.
Oh, they tell you the time that he should be doing.
Yeah.
Here's the advert.
This isn't just any watch, it's one of the best watches made, with almost 200 grams of gold and more than 100 real diamonds. That's a lot of diamonds. I love gold, I love diamonds.
Watches for illustrative purposes only, and is not an exact representation of the final product. Says in tiny writing at the bottom.
Do you know the name of the company that makes the watches?
Flybynightfatewatches.com.
They're called the best watches on earth. What did the latest would-be presidential assassin Ryan Wesley Routh say in a statement 15 months before the golf course incident?
Did he used to be a big Trump fan and now he's gone off him?
He said, "I tried my best. I have no savings, but I will pay a cash reward to anyone who can do the job." Here is a photograph of him being arrested. If you look closely, a lot of people have commented that it's like he's got the face of Donald Trump. None of the people we've mentioned so far is the maddest person in the US election, though. Who would you say that is?
Oh, that's the guy, is his name Jackson?
Mark Robinson.
Mark Robinson.
North Carolina.
Yeah. The man who could describe himself as a black Nazi.
Several mentalists, but this guy is actually running. Well, he's running as an independent.
Oh, not the Kennedy.
Yes, Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, he claimed that he couldn't pay alimony to his ex-wife because a parasitic worm had eaten his brain.
That's right.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is one of the 3 important animals in his life. Yeah. He's got one of them. Can anybody name the other?
The bear. He ran over a bear and killed the bear.
No, hang on a minute. He claims he found the bear by the side of the road totally innocently and put it in his trunk so he could eat it later.
Yeah.
And then decided, in fact, he was going to put it in Central Park and stage it to make it look like a bike had hit it because he hates cyclists.
Yeah.
So they've got a worm, you've got a bear, and there's one more.
Did he put a bird in to eat the worm? A cat to eat the bird?
Yeah. It's a whale. Right, so here it's just for everybody that's a bit confused here. There is the worm that lives in his head, right, as we spoke about. The dead bear that he found on the road and then tried to fake an accident between it and a bicycle. And then there is the dead whale that he found on the beach, and according to his 6-year-old daughter, he chainsawed the head off it and strapped it to the roof of our camper van for a 5-hour drive home. A decent story for a 6-year-old on my news Monday morning in school. Which means, at the end of this round, it is Ian and Helen with 2 points, and Paul and Chloe with 4 points. You were right about everything. Time now for the odd one out round, just one between you this week. A statue of Donald Trump, Keir Starmer, Winston Churchill's toilet and Prince Andrew. Both teams.
Winston Churchill, he's the only one who had his initials on the toilet door. And the others... only one likes being urinated on.
Is it something to do with excretion? Because Winston Churchill famously said, "I'll give nothing but my blood, sweat and tears." Prince Andrew famously said, "I'll give nothing but my blood and tears."
Yes, there's a statue of Prince Andrew that's gone up somewhere and people are very angry about it. I think it's at a university or something where he's a rector.
Are they all memorials in some way? Because the urinal has, quote, an association with Winston Churchill. It's in the Treasury. Rachel Reeves wanted to take it out because she said she was the first female chancellor. She was smashing the glass ceilings and the urinals. But they said you can't. And even putting a cover on it would cost £8,000.
Is there a statue of Sir Keir Starmer?
No. They've all stayed in place despite calls to have them removed, except Keir Starmer, who has removed a portrait of Margaret Thatcher despite calls for it to stay.
Yes.
So what reason did Keir Starmer give for removing this portrait?
He said he didn't like her looking down at him.
Yeah.
Starmer's biographer said the PM found it unsettling.
And he's replaced it with a much cheerier picture.
Of Attila the Hun.
Who wants Winston Churchill's toilet to be removed? And
Rachel Reeves,
where?
I think Helen said. Rachel Reeves.
Yep. Chancellor Rachel Reeves. She's not happy that her private bathroom at the Treasury contains the 90-year-old urinal.
How many MPs do you think have had a go on that?
Had a go on it?
Yeah. Well, isn't it?
Why was it not removed?
It's historic.
Historic, but upon her appointment as the first female Chancellor, Reeves was told that merely applying to remove it or cover it up would cost around £8,000. Yes, £8,000 to remove a urinal. Somebody's never heard of a sledgehammer. In other news, what is offending visitors to a National Trust house in Somerset?
It's the open-air toilet that was put there by Henry VIII.
It kind of looks like an open-air toilet. The actual answer is a new art installation at Tintsfield House has been compared to a big pile of poo. There we go. And here is a picture of said big pile of poo. That is like the all bar one toilets in Luton Airport. What is Prince Andrew yet to be removed from?
He's not been removed from the royal family yet. He hasn't been removed from the house he's in.
He's effectively squatting, that's right. King Charles is still trying to evict his brother from the Royal Lodge, despite him stepping down from official duties over 5 years ago. He's been told to pay the costs for the property's upkeep or to
And he must be getting royalties from all those dramas he's in. Every time I turn on the telly, there's another one.
In other royal news, what new addition to the royal family has sparked a media frenzy?
Oh, Beatrice, is her name, is pregnant? No.
That's too big, man. Dial it down a bit.
Oh, they've got a new kitten.
Yeah, someone's got a dog.
No. Somebody's got a new something.
Somebody's got a new something. Hip replacement.
Is it a new hat? Prince Charles got a new hat and he's now king.
Yeah.
There's Bobby J on it.
Charlie R.
That's what an old joke. It was when the Queen was still alive and the Prince Charles turns up at this event in Dunstable. He's wearing this sort of fur-lined hat. And somebody said to him, why are you wearing that? He said, well, when I said to the Queen, I'm going to Dunstable, she said, wear the fox hat.
Prince William's got a beard. There we go. Is that the whole world's talking about it? Really?
Are they?
Watching at straws, trying to avoid talking about Israel here. But Prince William has got a beard.
Yeah.
He does look as if he's just been in spearmint rhino for a few days. And he's heading home to get absolutely slaughtered off his wife. Why has a statue of Donald Trump caused upset in Las Vegas?
Is the statue in the form of a one-armed bandit? So you pull his arm, and then a golden shower... No, I'm not going.
Have you got a picture of it?
Do you want to see the picture?
Yeah,
yes.
go on.
So it's offended. Here it is from a different angle there.
Yeah. Look, there's a little hostage there.
What is the title of the artwork? Does anybody want to have a guess at that?
Is it Naked Greed?
Ooh. Oh, that's good.
Oh,
I like that.
The little prick.
Yes, the 43-foot, £6,000 nude structure is called Crooked and Obscene. Yes, they have all stayed in place despite calls to have them removed, except Keir Starmer, who's removed a portrait of Margaret Thatcher despite calls for it to stay. According to the Times, the King is keen to move Prince Andrew to more suitable accommodation. Well, I think Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell is still available. Time now for the Missing Words Round, which this week features as its guest publication The Searcher, the magazine for metal detector enthusiasts. Search as long as you like, you won't find anything that anyone gives a shit about.
I would dispute your fact that no one's ever found anything interesting. I was in a field.
Did someone find you?
Yep. No, and I went with a metal detector and I found an Anglo-Saxon silver coin.
Oh.
King Edgar. About £5.90. That's not what it's worth.
We start with UK Conkers tournament up in arms over what?
Fake conkers.
Oven usage?
Cold conkers.
Very close. The answer is frozen conkers.
Frozen conkers.
This is Conkerfon in Hertfordshire, where one angry competitor said that using frozen conkers was cheating, pure and simple. There we go. Thanks to Labour scrapping the fuel allowance, there's going to be a lot of pensioners with frozen conkers this winter. Next up, what found in tomb with mummy?
Daddy.
World's oldest cheese found in tomb with mummy.
Yeah.
Scientists in China have identified a substance found with a mummified body as kefir cheese. Here is the mummy in question. Scientists have ascertained that the cheese is 3,600 years old. They ascertained that partly through carbon dating, but mainly due to the label reading best before October 2nd, 1576 BC. Next up, highlights of the Dorset and West Pathfinders Charity Weekender included what and what?
Murder and sodomy.
In which order? Bed and breakfast. Ant and Dec. S&M. M&S. All four.
The answer is highlights of the Dorset and West Pathfinders Charity Weekender included a slushy machine and proper toilets. This is, of course, an article from The Searcher magazine. The full list of amenities at the campsite included a cider bar, a vegetarian food wagon and slushy machine. So I'm guessing those proper toilets took a proper hammering. Next. Pensioners in Derbyshire find fame after what?
Launch of website only Nans.
Pensions in Derbyshire find fame after looking through DVDs of old musicals.
The answer is pensioners in Derbyshire find fame after starring in Western film. Next, if you miss what, there's now a website that lets you relive it.
Evensong.
If you miss experience in life because you're glued to the internet, there's now a website that lets you relive it.
The answer is if you miss sounds computers made in the 1990s, there's now a website that lets you relive it. This is an article for computer buffs nostalgic for the days of performing tasks such as defragging a hard drive. I'm not sure I know how to do that, but more importantly, neither did Hugh Edwards. Okay. Finally, while out with my metal detector in a field in Shropshire, I was surprised to find...
A metal detector. Ian Hislop.
Yes. We've got a picture of Ian here. You look as if you're building a joint with that guy, Ian. So, the final scores are Ian and Helen have 3 points, and Paul and Chloe have 7. Well done, Paul and Chloe. Well done. On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Helen Lewis, Paul Merton and Chloe Petts, and I leave you with the news that at the new Ryman's megastore in London, after setting his heart on the giant hole punch, one customer wonders whether he could claim it back as office supplies. At a retirement home in Fife, one lucky nana celebrates having won this week's bingo jackpot. And in London, a new artwork is unveiled at the headquarters of the National Institute of Proctologists. Good night.